All right, out on an evening gravel ride. Done some adjustments. Felt a little edgy, so I took some air pressure out of the front and rear. And then I lowered the saddle because I was getting crotch pain, which is pretty much unwelcome at any point. And then, what was the other thing? Oh, I swapped out saddles. I had an older saddle, same brand, Ergon SMC Core. And I got carrots in my pocket. And yeah, newer saddle, replaced the old one, swapped them out. And lowered the saddle just a little bit. And we're gonna see how things feel. So I'll come back and we'll see if Ezekiel is out and about. Nice way to enjoy the evening. Gotta beat the sunset. Be right back. I think what I'm gonna do is put a piece of plastic, hard plastic, and connect that stub all the way over so it doesn't slide down. And then I can move the bike computer over to the middle. And then get it centered between my wrists. I'm always sort of almost touching it with my left wrist, and on once in a million years I accidentally, it's a touch screen, accidentally touch it, or I'm worried I'm going to touch it. And I think, yeah, we'll do that. That's the remote for the 360 camera. Be right back. Yeah, I just hit some gravel back there. Pretty rough patches of gravel, and it smoothed everything out so nice. I think I'm at a 23 PSI in the front. And pro tip, you get a digital tire gauge. And it's so nice. Dude working. Because you can go out on a ride or finish a ride. The tire pressure was perfect. And then you can know exactly what it is. You could even create a spreadsheet and for different temperatures. All right, coming up on Ezekiel. And also, Kai did such a great job on building up this bike. He also replaced the brake pads, but swapping over cranks and pressing in a bottom bracket. So nice. There's Ezekiel. There he is. We'll be right back. Hold on. Oh, Ezekiel. Look, I got 2 carrots for you again. You were waiting this time. Okay, hold on. There you go. Oh, jump for the fingers. Yeah. There's one of the people that live here. They don't mind. I've talked to them. They even told me what he likes. And little kids have been feeding him for years. You dropped part of your carrot. It's down there. It eats the carrot or it gets the hose again. Don't forget, it's down here. Look. What's that crunching? There you go. Oh, look at that close up. Yeah. Donkeys have the softest noses down here. As they grab things with their lips, it's like, yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks for being here again. You really make the ride worth it. It's like I come out here to feed you, and it makes the evening really nice. Texas countryside. This is the end game of all the training and racing, is so that you're so used to biking that you can just do this kind of thing for the rest of your life. Yeah? You too, right? Look at all the grass you've got. Wow. Okay, we've had a really wet summer and a little bit cooler summer, so it's not all dried out like usual. Usually this is kind of brown and stuff by now. All right, bye. Oh, yeah, on the Niner. And people ask, I got a little bit of a forward-facing seat post and the seat slammed forward, and that's so you can get in the aero bars a little bit easier without it hurting your back. If it's too far back, then when you try to get in the aero bars, it hurts your back. So that's a trick. That's a Thompson Elite, slightly forward-facing seat post. You can find ones that are more so, but the trick is you need a bike with a round seat post, or else it's very difficult to do something. Somebody makes an adapter that's like $115 that you put up here somewhere. It's a little bit ridiculous, but all right, let's get going. We got some more gravel to do. Thought I'd film a little bit on gravel, but I need to do it uphill. That way I'm less likely to crash. Oh, yeah. So Justin, pro tip on bike fit is, changing out the fit on your handlebars can be kind of tough. I used to have an adjustable stem, and I love those. They're not really for off-road. But raising or lowering your saddle is such an easy thing to do, like one bolt. And that actually changes how much weight you're putting on the handlebars, and that might be all you need. So I got it down here right here. I got just enough sunlight still where I can decide if I want to go bike ride or if I want to run. And the running outside of my front door is not like this. And so getting out to the countryside is just so nice. So I think in the evenings, I'm going to keep doing this until I just run out of time. There's another little classic Texas little miniature oil or natural gas mini. It's not a refinery, it's like a storage unit. But I can tell 3, 4, or 5 rides starting to get the fit dialed in. And carrying an Allen wrench. It's in my rear jersey pocket. Really does help, because you can change things while you ride, and I call those sacrificial rides. The best place is on the trainer, because you can tell with the same amount of power, is your heart rate higher or lower? Basically, is it harder or easier? And you can just step off and try it again, move something, step off, move something. But you have to have the mindset that this is not going to be a workout so much as it's going to be a bike fit. And it ends up being all right. It's totally worth it. And then the last thing, you can tell this grip is tilted in and this one's not. I think the bike fell over one time. Guy wants to rewrap the handlebars, and he said he'll look at that whenever. It's hard to get to that bolt. I tried, and it's best to do it with the grip tape off. And then I love CG's pads. They go right here. They're so soft. And they last a decade. And they add suspension to your gravel bike ride as well. I'd say a centimeter, maybe half a centimeter to a centimeter. And that's a lot. It smooths out the ride so nice. So I'll eventually get some of those. And let's see, we got something up here we want to check out. Also, forward-facing seat posts aren't just for aero bars. If you got a bike you really like, it's just a tad bit too big, and you don't want to shorten the stem anymore, putting in a forward-facing seat post shortens the distance to the handlebars. And then you'll notice all the benefits of it. Makes it easier to ride longer, because the whole point of triathlon is after you're done with the ride, you still got to run. And an Ironman, a marathon. So you don't want your legs to be tired. But you can imagine in a 200-mile gravel race, that's really handy for your legs not to be tired. And you've been in an aero bar position, saving time. We're going to check out this little lot over here, which we can do because we're on a gravel bike. I'll be right back. Okay, this is a trip. Somebody's built some kind of bunker or something. Although I don't know if it would be a bunker with the glass up there like that. But then this is the old shack that was next door, and it's got power because AC's running. I'm gonna get out of here. But there's a for sale sign, so I figure it's free game to ride because you want to check it out. But this is not an empty lot. I wonder what is going on with that thing. Almost looks like a little public library, but all right, and then a little shed. It's actually pretty quiet back here. It's pretty nice. All right, be right back. Yeah, that was really interesting. And then also reminded me to mention that I found for me and my body weight that 50mm tires allows me to float. Dirt road down there. And that driveway was sand and loose dirt, little pockets of deeper sand and rough stuff. And 50mm is the breaking point for me. Skinnier than that, I sink too much. And that was nice. But I'm still running a 42 on the rear. The front matters the most for that kind of stuff. But I ordered a 50 for the back. A Continental something. Wasn't all that expensive. Bike Tires Direct. Use discount code BonkBros for my homies at BonkBros. Get 10% off, which pretty much covers your shipping. And then it's a black chili compound, which Continental's famous for. I don't know if it's all that fast of a tire. It was kind of inexpensive, but it had a extra belt of protection in it. And it should show up. And then I'll have 50 front and rear for the first time ever. And matched tire size, front and rear. And what I'm running down here is a WTB Venture or something like that. And I'm not a big fan of it, but because I think the tread's too tready, just a little bit. But it's this weird tread that is little nubs, little tiny little soft nubs. And what changed my mind on it from hating on it to just being tolerating it until I wear it out and get something else is people claim that it actually softens the surface a little bit, so it takes the edge off of stuff. So that's pretty cool. And when I used it at the East Texas 400 in mud all day long, it cleared, but it wasn't peanut butter. But it allowed me, I weighed 20 pounds more than I do now, maybe more. And I was loaded up with all kinds of gear so that I could break my frame, apparently. And it floated over the mud enough where I didn't get stuck so bad. And then my rear tire I'm riding right now, here we got some gravel. We're going uphill, so it should be okay. Probably won't crash. Just want to watch out for big stuff that's going to send the handlebars sideways when I'm only riding with one hand. And riding a sawtooth, which is an inverted, like basically no tread, 42 on the rear. There was something weird about it, because it was skinny enough to dig in, and move me forward. It's kind of odd. Okay, this gravel coming up downhill. Be right back. We got another gravel road after this. We got to ride down. Oh, car up. All right, let's talk about ride quality. So it's an aluminum bike, so it's rigid, you know, but with the suspension stem and the right tire pressure and bigger tires that gravel bikes have, it's really hard to tell the difference between like the vibration and, you know, irritability of a jackhammer frame that's sending shockwaves right up your back. But what you still can tell is it transfers power when you accelerate. There was a black zip tie back there, man, I could have used that. And so accelerating and climbing, you can tell like it gets up and goes, which is pretty nice. And I'd say the rest of it, you really wouldn't notice, you know. Now the Nishiki aluminum frame, that thing is old school aluminum frame. Instead of the seat stays meeting below the seat tube, the top tube, the seat junction, allowing the seat tube to flex and kind of smooth out the ride a little bit. That one, the rear seat stays meet above the top tube on the back. So it's like direct transfer right into your spine. So you can kind of tell on that one, even with the bigger tires, that it's aluminum. But yeah, and then this one's hydroformed aluminum, which takes a lot of weight out. They shape it and put the metal material where they want it to be stronger and less of it where they don't. So it's not just like butted, it's like super butted. Look at all it. We're going to turn down this gravel road, but man, look at all the dust. Somebody came flying through there. Woo. This is our last little gravel road. We'll be back. We might talk about crank length. We've got a little bit of road we can talk about that. It'd be kind of fun. I'm filming this all on my iPhone, just for fun. And we'll be back. Something that's nice about riding gravel is if you live in the city and suburbs, you know, whatever, and you'd rather be out in the countryside more, this is such an easy way to do it because the woods comes right up to the edge of the road, you know, and you see wildlife like foxes, armadillo. Here in Texas, you see armadillos, raccoons, deer, depending on where you live, maybe some bear. It's really nice way to get what they call Japanese forest bathing. The human mind is supposed to apparently get a certain amount of this green, and this really is an express way of getting a nice dose of it. Yeah, do like it a lot. Look at that sunrise, sunset. I mean, with all the dust lighting it up, so pretty. Yeah, that last section of gravel was really choppy, and you could totally tell that was a tire pressure thing. That took the edge off of it nicely. So nice. So yeah, crank length. So just a big study done. What they keep leaving out is, you know, it needs to match your body height, just like a walking stick or crutches or whatever, you know, or length to the pedals in your car should be appropriate for the height of the length of your legs, because that does make a difference. But anyway, shorter cranks are good for maintaining a speed if you also already have a high cadence. And longer cranks are good for generating bursts of power because they're big levers, you know. And then also, long cranks are better for me in this situation because I live where it's rolling terrain and it's not that steep. But if it does get steep, having a longer crank arms is like having a lower gear. And because it allows you to apply more power further out and get up and over that. If you have little tiny crank arms, you run out of effective gearing a lot sooner. And so I'm not going to spend all this time swapping out my drivetrain, you know. Oh, there's ducks. Let's see. Oh, that's kind of magical. There you go. Yeah, that was cool. Everybody will take time for ducks, but if it's a human cyclist, then you know you need to just run them over. So the spot where cranks, I did go to shorter cranks, is on my tri-bike. You're so slammed and so aero that your gut is more likely to hit the tops of your thighs the longer your crank arms are, because your crank arms come up higher. And so I went from 175s to 172.5s, and I was able to generate the same amount of power at a lower heart rate because my chest cavity wasn't being squished as much. I could breathe better. All right, bottleneck, so we'll be back. Look at this pink sunset. Wow. Whoa, hard to tell on camera, but man, that thing is pretty impressive. It's actually a little bit pinker than that. But anyway, let's see. Coming in the easy way to the neighborhood. You can tell that was a nice, easy ride. I'm just trying to open the legs up a little bit. I'm a very type A driven exerciser, and if I don't feel like working out, that means I'm tired and need to take a break. So skipped a few. Two? I don't know if it was three. A few is three. Two is a couple. Skipped a couple to a few workouts this week. Trying to get back on top of things. But also a little bit because I did this epic gravel ride that took 7 hours total. How's it going? The other day. And that was fun. Kai and I are planning out an epic gravel overnighter, which will be a lot of fun. And then I'm hoping to swim in the morning. So we'll see. We'll get up around here in the corner, around the corner here in a minute, and see if we can use my diving watch to tell the amount of time I stopped feeding Ezekiel. Be right back. All right, we got an hour and 13. And here we got, see the pip down there? That's when I started. And that's an hour and 17. So about 4 minutes total feeding Ezekiel and then stopping to look at that house off the beaten path, which is pretty cool. But let me see if I can show you. That's gonna be hard to do. Dang it, I don't know how to do it without moving too much. So you can rotate these. This is so cool. Can I do it with, and here we go. Da, da, da. Hear that? And it's like a cool fidget thing.